Hey, I'm Christoph. I am the founder of DoneThat, and in the next few minutes, I just want to walk you a bit through how it all works. Maybe before we begin, the concept of DoneThat is that you should spend as little time as possible in the app. So while I'm going to show you a lot of features now, you can also just close this and only look at it again in a few days. Like everything should work fully automated. This is more like to help you find your way around. So let's start. Maybe the first thing, I'm on a Mac here. This you could also be on Windows or on Linux, but wherever you are, done that will have a little icon here in the taskbar. On Mac, it's up here. On Windows, it's in the bottom right. And here you can open the app. You can open the chat with Don, the agent of DoneThat, the mascot, who can also answer any questions you might have. And importantly, you can just pause this for any minutes if you want to switch off the recording. Next, you are here on the home screen. The home screen shows you the goals you might have set for the day, and typically Don, this mascot, will kind of reach out to you and ask you for your goals, so you don't have to go into this app. You can also disable this if you don't want this to happen. You just see what you did previously, and here we already kind of see the main idea. So you get the time you spent on different tasks. These tasks are automatically generated based on what you've been doing, and then grouped. You see kind of these colorful dots here to the projects they're associated with. So for me, I spent 4 hours on software development yesterday, a bit of time on like communication stuff, a bit of time on growth, and so on. The time is divided in two different kind of sections. One is these projects, and another one is kind of how you work, right? This is kind of the what, and then I spend a lot of time focusing. I also spend some time messaging in meetings, and so on. Okay, before we go on, there's on every page this little info icon up here. You can always click this and you'll see more information about how this works. Next, we have the calendar view here. Here you kind of just see what we just saw on a very high level in a much more detailed level. So you can see kind of when I did what yesterday. For example, I built this Clippy inspired coach, and you can kind of see these blocks always colored by these projects. And then on the left, you see the kind of minute by minute recording that is then automatically grouped in these higher level tasks. You can, if you want, connect to Google Calendar. This is then extra information that DoneThat will use to determine what you're working on. And you can kind of also kind of just see side by side in the calendar what you've been up to. You can look at this also from a day or a kind of month perspective. And then finally, there is a download button here. And with that, you can generate any kind of reports. Instead of using these reports manually, you can also connect via API or MCP with your favorite AI chatbot. And I'll show you later how that works. Okay, next up we have the tasks view. This kind of looks at the same data just from a different perspective. So you have a tabular view down here that basically tells you all the tasks you did, which projects they were assigned to, and you can basically like filter and order them in any way you like. If you work in a team, you can also switch this toggle on, then you see not just your own tasks there, but also the tasks from the team. Speaking of teams, I'm not going to do this now, but you can use this feed here, and then you see the summaries that we saw for myself just here for your team members as well, if they opt into having these visible to others. And you can do that in your settings. Maybe this is a good reason to now look at the settings. So down here, well, you can invite your team, but you can also set the settings. We're not going to go through all of them now, but I think the most interesting ones are, first of all, the privacy one. So here you can say who is actually allowed to see the summaries that we saw in the Home tab. For everybody, by default, these are set to private, so nobody can actually see what you're doing within DoneThat. I set mine to public, so you can actually see what kind of features I'm working on anytime in the day in your social feed. And the team and organization ones are meant for if you're working in a team. If you want to share some of your data, but you want to keep the time that you spend on things private, you can use this share time as relative percentage feature. And when you enable this, then you don't see the total hours worked, but just percentage worked. So maybe I didn't spend 2 hours on this chatbot feature yesterday, but I spent 30% of my time on that. Yeah, there's some settings you can set. So in generating these tasks, it kind of excludes or deletes certain data. Yeah, there's you can read the descriptions to understand more. Then the next one here is Dawn. This is the proactive chatbot, so you can enable this guy here, or it'll just proactively reach out to you. And for some people, that's great. For others, that's less great. So you can just disable this feature here. You can also tell it to just be quiet for some time. And then down here, you can kind of set how aggressive Dawn should be in what it's trying to do. So for me, I wanted to ask me in the start of the week or month or quarter for my goals. I could also say, hey, ask me for my goals in the morning. And then every now and then it reaches out to encourage me, to tell me to actually focus on my goals instead of browsing LinkedIn, telling me to take a break every now and then. And there's a feature to record how I'm feeling. And you can also enable Dawn to do this, so you don't have to do it manually. And this helps to kind of do an energy audit of your day at the end of the day. Okay, let's just quickly see if there's anything else relevant. Maybe integrations is interesting to look at. So you can connect to your Google Calendar. You can connect to Slack here. So then your daily summaries are kind of pushed to Slack. You can send your summaries via email to other stakeholders. Yeah, and you can create API keys if you want to connect via API. Yeah, maybe one last thing to look at is this top bar here in the desktop app. If you're looking at this from the web app, by the way, then this will look very similar, except you don't have this top bar because you're on the web and not on the desktop. There's one important button here, that's the feedback one. Please just submit any feedback at any time when something isn't working the way you would expect it to, or you want a feature that's maybe just not there yet. And then there's the setup button up here, and this is used for any settings that are local to your machine. So this is, for example, the permissions for recording any data. You can mask apps here. So for me, for example, Signal is a messaging app I'm using only for private stuff. There's never anything work-related in there. So I'm just telling DoneThat to never record any data around this, and you could add kind of as many apps as you want here. If you want, you can use your own LLM for this initial stage of processing that's local to your machine. And yeah, the easy way for this is to just bring your own Gemini API key, but you can also use any other API. It says OpenAI compatible here. That just means that most providers use the OpenAI standard for defining APIs. So this could be OpenRouter, or this could be an LLM that runs locally on your laptop. Basically, anything that has an API that looks like OpenAI can work here. And then finally, for some people, they want a different hotkey to summon Dawn. You can do that here. You can enable logs so you actually see what DoneThat is recording. And yeah, you see the version down here. If I release a new version, you can check if that's running, but the update should always happen automatically. Yeah, finally, DoneThat is built so yeah, it really runs completely automatic. If you want to review any of these things before they get submitted, maybe because you're using this in a team setting where you want to be sure yeah, that it's actually correct what it's sending, then you can click whenever you're done this Finish Day button, and this will then generate a summary like this and allow you to review before it's submitted. But you can always, if you forgot to do this, click this Edit button here and change project assignment or yeah, anything else. Okay, I think that's it for the quick walkthrough. If you have any other questions, yeah, always reach out at Christoph@donethat.ai, click this feedback button, talk to Don, and yeah, let me know how you're finding it. Thanks.